And in chapter 2, we're going to talk about summarizing data and summarizing data in tables, graphs, etc. In 2.1, we're going to start qualitative data. Qualitative data. And we're going to look at tables, bar graphs, pie charts, and numerical summary. I don't know why I wrote, I was thinking of summary. So numerical summary, but that it will be in chapter 3. Chapter 3. Okay, so let's look number 1. Let's look at tables. So when we talk about tables, we will look at 2 different types. They're not that different. One is called frequency distribution. The other one is called relative frequency distribution. And I'm going to give an example right now. We're going to make one up together. So let's say I have M&Ms. No, I'm not hungry, but let's think about M&Ms, and they have all sorts of colors. So let's say they have green, brown, yellow, and then we have a bag of green. Let's say just these 3 colors. So green, brown, and yellow, and then I found another green, and another green, and another yellow, and another yellow, and another brown, and another yellow. That's all I have in my bag. So obviously we see how many qualitative, how many colors do I have? So the color, frequency, and then relative frequency. I'm going to put R frequency. So the color green, and then brown, and then yellow. How many green do I have in my bag? That's all I have. This is it. We just made one up, one example.
3. You have 3 greens.
So I have 3 greens. 1, 2, 3. I agree. How many browns? Good. Done. And 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow. What is the total? Let me put another one here so I can get 10, so it's much easier to divide. So which color do you want me to add?
Brown.
Brown. Perfect. So then we have 3 browns. 3 plus 3 plus 4, 10. How do I determine the relative frequency? So when we talk about relative, it's relative to the total. So relative really means relative to the total. So very easy, 3 divided by 10, 0.3. So remember, the relative will always be either percent or proportion or decimal number. Proportion, decimal number, in other words, or percent. So when we talk about relative or the relative frequency, it will always be in a decimal form or in a percent form. If it's in a decimal form, let me put both here. Okay, so this will be 30%. That's why we discussed percent first day of classes. So this is in percent, this is in decimal. Again, this is the same, 0.3 and 30%, and this is 0.4, 4 divided by 10. 3 divided by 10 is 0.3, and so on and so forth, 0.4, so this is 40%. I have to make sure that this number adds up to what, and this number adds up to what. Extremely important, always.
For the decimal and 100 for the percent.
Exactly. You don't have to write it like this. You can just write 1. I'm fine with that. And this has to be 100%. You always have to check. If you, in a table, on the midterm, for example, if you will be asked to create this table, if you forget to show the total and forget to show the 1, and if you're asked the percent, if you forget to show the 100, and they have to be 100. If this is 101.001, then it's wrong. Don't write that. I'm going to write it out in just blink. Okay? So you always have to, you're not asked to fudge anything, right? But you always have to show that this sum is 1 and this sum is 100, regardless, I mean, depending on what you are asked to do. Either in decimal form or in percent. Okay. So now, based on this, I would like to look at frequency bar graph and relative frequency bar graph. And then I'll stop. So frequency bar graph. They can be vertical or they can be horizontal. I don't like the horizontal ones, but I'll show you both. So I have 3 colors. Same size. This is the same size with this, even if on my graph doesn't appear to be, but it has to be the same size, and the same size here. So this is the green, this is the brown, and this is the yellow. Okay, I have 3, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The height has to, for the green, it has to be at 3. The same width, height at 3. And you can put 3 at the top. For brown, same thing. Height at 3. And you can put 3 at the top. But for yellow, I have 4. Height at 4. And you put 4 at the top. So here is color. And this is frequency on the y-axis, 0. Notice that the bars are not touching. For qualitative data, they do not touch. You cannot put them side by side and have adjacent bars, right? You have to have space that shows qualitative data. The same thing I can do horizontally, right? So I can create, but I just will prefer to present here the relative frequency, okay? So, but yes, you can turn this around and put it horizontally. So you'll have this bar up here. You will have the next one. It doesn't matter which order you prefer. But here I would like to show color and the relative frequency. So 0.4, so I have the same bars Same with all of them. So this is the green, this is the brown, and this is the yellow. This is the green, this is the brown, this is the yellow. And I go as high as 0.3 and 0.4. So if this is 1 and this is 0.5, this is my 0.4 and this is my 0.3. So then I have this. I have this because they're both at 0.4, 0.3, 0.3, and this is at 0.4. You can write 0.3, 0.4. You can write, if you want, 30%, 30%, and 40%. Notice again that the bars are not touching. They do not have adjacent vertical sides. And this time, I can only read 30%, 30%, 40%, or 0.3, 0.3, and 0.4. I was hoping to start some homework with you, but it didn't work.